Hi, this is Chef Janie Pendleton, and today we're going to be making sweet pickle relish. First thing I'm going to do is I broke out my dehydrated goods. This is dehydrated orange and red and yellow bell peppers. What it looks like, that smells so good. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Is just to simply take 2 bowls. You can see right here, there's 2 bowls here. The same diameter. And I just poured the boiling water over my pickles in there and let them sit for 3 to 5 hours. You can let them rest up to 12 hours. Don't go any longer than that. You want to rinse them out in a colander and then pour some more boiling water over the top again. Let them sit for 1 or 2, 3 minutes, up to 10 minutes at the most. And then you want to drain it again, and then you want to put a little bit of pickling crisp on top of that. I put about a half a teaspoon of pickling crisp in this total and tossed them in. And then I went over and prepared my liquid. So that's how I started this out and prepared the pickles for the relish. Now you can put those through a food processor and have pickle relish, or you can just keep them sliced and make dill or sweet pickles that way. This really works. This really keeps the steam in things. Here we've just put our sliced pickles into a food processor, and we didn't chop it up too fine. We wanted to keep it a little chunky, so be careful of that. Even if you got to put it through the processor and put a couple of them that didn't get done back through again, that's fine too. And then here we're going to add, about a tablespoon of our dehydrated orange or red peppers. Oh my gosh, these smell so good. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to add just a little bit more of that in there. I like those. So we're going to let those sit. We're going to turn the heat on to about a medium-low, and we're going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, here we're just going to put in a half a teaspoon of pickling salt. Now, when I made and sliced up my pickles, I've got to talk fast here, my battery's about ready to go dead. I didn't charge it up good enough last night. But what I did is I took boiling water and poured over the pickling slices, and I put I inverted another bowl that was identical to the bowl I put them in, so it looked like a big white ball. But I inverted another bowl on top of that to keep the fruit flies and stuff off. But I let that boiling water sit on the pickle slices for about 8 hours. You can go probably as little as 3 hours. But don't go any more than 24 hours, okay? And then I rinsed the pickles off really, really well. Poured boiling water on them again. Let them sit for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then I re-rinsed them again. Okay, so that's how I prepped my pickles, and then I put them through the food processor. Now I just added my peppers, and I've added my pickling salt. Be sure and use canning salt. That helps not to clot up your water. Iodine and regular salt can clot up your water. Now here, now that I've simmered this for a few minutes, I'm just going to add 1 cup here of vinegar. And we're going to see how much juice that makes. Okay, it's pretty good, nice and thick there. I think I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of vinegar. There we go. How's that look? Okay, that's perfect. Okay, that is perfect. I hope I didn't move the camera off before you. I'm out of space today on my countertops because I'm drying my sage and all of my, all the rest of my herbs, my thyme, my oregano. Now here we are, of course, sterilizing our jars, and I'm just using some half pints here. We don't use a lot of relish. I already made the hamburger, the sweet hamburger and hot dog relish, which was Chicago style, and it had the onions and stuff in it, onions and garlic, and I'm not doing that here. I just put in the dehydrated peppers. Now as you can see the peppers have just about come back to regular state there. I don't know if you can see that. So they're rehydrated pretty well here. Just my temperature. And of course, I want to try it. I'm going to taste this to see how it tastes already before I put any spices in. Make sure I get enough salt. Okay, that's really good. It's ready for sugar. Okay? Now, you want to put in the same amount of sugar that you put in vinegar. So here's a 1/4 cup plus the 1 cup. And again, we're going to give this a stir, and we're going to see how this tastes to us before we add the rest of our spices. And when you get it, the sweetness that you like, I just dumped that out. That was smart of me. Now when you get the sweetness that you like, give that a second to kind of meld in with the vinegar and sugar, kind of get that sweet and sour kind of flavor going there. This should be more sweet than sour. Okay, we're going to put a clean spoon out here. Try this again. Okay, that's good. Needs more sugar. Try another 1/2 cup. Get another clean spoon out. Remember, never double dip. If you're getting ready to can this, you want to keep this nice and sterile. You don't want anything touching your mouth and back in the pot. I don't care if it is boiling again. Don't do it. Okay, so grab another clean spoon. And let's taste this again and let's see how it tastes. I need my little spoons. Okay. A little more sugar and then we got it. Okay, that was a total of about 1 3/4 cups of sugar. So 1 3/4 cups of sugar. Get another clean spoon, give that a stir. And then I'll wash my spoons up because I'm going to be out of spoons here. And let's try that. Let's see how that tastes. That's perfect. Okay. Okay, so now we can go back to using this spoon again. I didn't eat off it. That's fine. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add a few drops of green food coloring. You don't have to. You can omit this step. But I like my sweet pickles. I can tell the difference in the jars in the cabinet when I've added a little bit of green food coloring. There we go. My dill pickles don't get the green food coloring, but my sweet pickles do. And I can just pick them right off the shelf. I mean, without even labeling them. I know what is what. Okay, and look at that coloring. Isn't that pretty? And that will absorb into all those tiny pieces. But it won't absorb too much into the skins of the red peppers or the orange peppers I've got in here. And that will keep them, you'll be able to see them through the jar. It'll be really pretty. Okay, I'd call that a success. It's very pretty. There's a big chunk of pickle there I need to cut up. There we go. Okay, we're going to let this simmer before we add the spices for about another minute or two. And we'll be right back. Okay, a teaspoon of garam masala, which is my secret Indian spice. I think I got that. A teaspoon of ground cinnamon, maybe a little less. About 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of ground mustard. About 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of ground turmeric. About 5 to 6 dashes of ground clove. That's about 1/4 teaspoon. And about 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And finally, cardamom seed ground, we put in about 1/4 teaspoon of it. Okay, and we're just going to give this a stir. And we're going to make sure that this isn't in, you know, I've got the heat off. But I'm on a glass top stove, so it's still continuing to heat this up. Okay, we don't want to boil the spices in here. Get a good mix. Grab our hot jars out of the water bath here. They've been washed and sterilized. I'm just going to get them out of the water bath. And we're just going to start filling them. Be sure and sterilize your cup as well. You do not want to use a good towel for this. Matter of fact, I don't even know why I'm using a white one, because it's got that green food coloring in it. Okay, I sterilized my ladle in the hot boiling water for a minute. You can see it steaming too. And we're just going to fill these jars up to 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch from the top. Somewhere right in there is fine. I'm going to get all the air bubbles out. We'll take a clean napkin. We're just going to take a nice wet rag. You can use vinegar for this as well. Either works. And we're going to make sure that we don't have any of those spices. Even those spices can keep this from sealing. I kind of got a little messy there, so. Okay, there we go. Run your finger over the rim. Remember my little trick. Dip a finger in the hot water. Run your finger over the rim, just to be sure. Now make sure you don't have two lids in here. I do not. Set those right there on top. Come back. There we go. I always make sure that's centered. Finger tight. Screw in that band just finger tight. Okay. Now we're just going to carry this over and we're just going to sit this in the water bath. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, we're just going to sit this down inside of our water bath. Making sure that we don't, by the time we get all the jars in here, we should have 1 inch to 2 inches over the top of our jar lids. Okay, I'm going to finish filling the canner with all that I've made, and I'll be right back. Now we've got our 6 half-pint jars in the canner, and we're going to water bath can these. When it comes to a rolling boil, we're going to start our timer. We're going to nice rolling boil. And you can see here I'm using a glass top lid. It does have a steam vent. That's fine. You don't have to plug it or anything. That's fine. And we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes. So we're going to water bath can these for 10 minutes. You know, since it's relish, that works the same as sliced pickles. Okay? Okay, our time is up. Now we're just going to lift these up and off the heat. And we're going to let these settle down for about 2 or 3 minutes before we remove them from the canner.